Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our featured prelim for UFC 325. In this matchup, we have Junior Tafa taking on Billy Elekana. So right off the bat, I'm going to try something a little different with this video and the next few other videos I'll be releasing. I'm actually going to say who I'm going to pick to win first, and then explain my reasoning and their skill sets and then lead into why I'm picking that specific fighter. Usually by these videos, I pick who I think's going to win at the end of it. I thought I'd try just something a little different and see if it garners, more likes, attention, or comments, etc. But by the end of the video, I would love for you guys to say in the comment section if you like this style or you prefer the old style of me telling you who I'm going to pick by the end of it. So, looking at Junior Tafa versus Billy Elekana. Both men are powerful strikers with finishing ability. When we look past just power and into skill sets, range control, and how both guys control the fight, you're going to see why this fight's going to lean towards Billy Elekana, as Tafa is a young knockout artist with all of his wins via finish, while Elekana carries a more complete MMA game that combines striking accuracy, grappling, and endurance. Importantly, this isn't really just a fight of knockouts. It's a contrast of well-rounded skills versus a one-dimensional powerhouse. Now, starting with Junior Tafa, 29, standing at 6'3" with a kickboxing base and had fought in kickboxing before coming to MMA and raw knockout power. Tafa's professional record shows he's finished nearly every fight with a full 100% finish rate in his wins, with 6 knockouts to his name. His striking output is solid, and he picks his shots with serious intent, making him a dangerous opponent, especially in the early exchanges. And he is heavily geared towards landing fight-ending shots, like against Sean Sharaf or against Parker Porter when he fought at heavyweight, rather than engineering long, drawn-out rounds. What Tafa doesn't bring is equal measured in versatility. His wrestling and submission game are just terrible. They're terrible. There's no other way, but his grappling is god-awful. Very limited compared to a well-rounded MMA fighter. And when the fight extends past the early power phase, like, say, 6 or 7 minutes into the fight, if it goes that long, or if Tafa is taken into long grappling sequences like Tuco's did it, Tafa's offense severely drops off quickly. And he's also still developing consistency in long sequences where we're setting up power through combinations and control matters most. But still raw in MMA terms, because you look at Tafa's record, it's 6-4, right? Only about 10 pro fights. Not really the record you'd like to see in a UFC fighter, but again, I think he also got into it because of his brother. Basically, the idea with Tafa is landing the big shots using his kickboxing base, but again, it's just grappling is god-awful. That's the biggest hole in his game. He's not a complete fighter. He's very one-dimensional. Now, looking at Billy Elekana, 30, stands at about 6'3". He usually fights out of the southpaw stance. Elekana's game looks different on the numbers, as he averages about 2.66 significant strikes landed per minute with about a 60% accuracy, showing he picks his shots carefully and efficiently. Elekana absorbs fewer strikes than many light heavyweights. It isn't just a power hitter. Elekana, he's a measured striker with good grappling tools. You saw, like, against Bogdan Gustaf, he was able to take down Gustaf and even threaten him with a choke and a good top position, and as well as finish his last fight via a good rear naked choke. So Elekana, he's registered takedowns and has submission skills in his toolbox, like I mentioned, meaning he can mix phases more effectively than Junior Tafa. I can tell you that much for sure. And also, you look at Elekana's record, it's a good spread of knockout wins, submission wins, and decisions, showing that Elekana isn't dependent on one way of winning like Tafa, that multi-path ability matters when Tafa's pure power doesn't land cleanly, because Elekana can adapt and shift strategies within the same fight. Now, just looking at how they clash, starting with like the range and pace of the fight, Tafa's strength is closing distance quickly and landing heavy punches before resetting or finishing, and that's effective in short bursts when Elekana isn't like pressuring back. But Elekana, I don't think he's just going to stand there and let Tafa do it. Since Elekana uses the southpaw stance, he has a long reach and effective striking to manage distance and keep Tafa from steamrolling him from the first bell. And while Elekana doesn't throw in wild volume, but what he lands tends to be accurate in time to disrupt powerful rushes. Then you think the mixing of the takedowns. Tafa thrives when the fight stays on the feet and he can just unload big shots like 2000's version of MMA heavyweights where they're just swinging back and forth. But Elekana forces decisions on multiple fronts. Elekana doesn't need to land a takedown to win. His accuracy on strikes can accumulate rounds as well, but the threat of the wrestling and submission is going to keep Tafa guessing rather than committing fully to power shots. And that's a subtle but meaningful strategic edge, as Elekana's versatility forces his opponent to split focus between defending strikes and defending the grappling. Then there's endurance and pacing through the rounds, as Tafa's average fight time historically sits around, like I said, the 6 to 7 minute mark, or even just the first round, and typically looking for quick finishes. And generally, Tafa tends to fade if the fight just drags on. Now, Elekana's average fight time is much longer, and he's shown comfort in deeper waters in later rounds, and that tells you something about cardio and fight IQ. Elekana can maintain a game plan, manage effort, and keep his technique clean late, while Tafa's output and power is going to diminish naturally. Another key point I would think is also think of it defensive responsibility, as Tafa has a 100% finish rate, meaning in wins he's pressing for big moments, but losses often come from overcommitting or being put in positions where he's not ready. He defensively, like when Marcos Rogerio de Lima just chopped that leg kick, just chopped that lead leg continuously in their fight. Now, meanwhile, look at Elekana. His approach relies on controlled offense and solid defense, meaning he reduces risk even when he isn't throwing knockout combinations. And that approach generally earns rounds and minimizes openings large enough for Tafa to land that fight-ending shot. So, how do I think this fight plays out? I expect Elekana to control distance early. Now, granted, they both have roughly the same reach. Elekana having the longer reach at 77 inches, while Tafa has 72. I think, like I said, Elekana is going to control distance early, use his accuracy in the southpaw stance to frustrate Tafa's power entries. Tafa can absolutely change the fight one clean shot, and that's part of the drama here. But Elekana's defensive awareness and ability to mix phases limits those opportunities. And as the fight goes on, Elekana's comfort in extended striking sequences and his grappling jabs will gradually take control of the narrative, either building rounds or just creating an opening that keeps Tafa off balance. So I think the most likely scenario sees Elekana outwork Tafa on the feet, survive early power attempts, and using his brawler toolkit and pace control to steal rounds over 3 or get a finish here. So for the official prediction, it is Billy Elekana, and I think he can get the submission here. I think he can take Tafa down. Like I said, fight good off the long range, and I think either find an opening to drop Tafa or just simply take him down. And then from there, Elekana will latch up a submission. Rear naked choke, I see, is the most likely outcome, but an arm triangle is possible as well. So once again, I'm picking Billy Elekana, and I'm going to pick him via submission in this fight. But with that being said, this has been my breakdown of this matchup. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.